In yet another blow to Donald Trump in court, a federal judge has granted E. Jean Carroll partial summary judgment, ruling that she already proved that Trump defamed her ahead of their upcoming civil trial in January, and so now that trial will focus solely on what monetary damages he owes her. The decision came as Judge Kaplan found that the substance of Carroll's defamation claims were the same as her previous defamation claims from the previous trial, claims that a jury had already found were defamatory, meaning it wouldn't be necessary to relitigate the issue, but rather just to move ahead and focus on damages. Judge Kaplan wrote, "The truth or falsity of Mr. Trump's 2019 statements therefore depends, like the truth or falsity of his 2022 statement, on whether Ms. Carroll lied about Mr. Trump sexually assaulting her. The jury's finding that she did not, therefore is binding in this case and precludes Mr. Trump from contesting the falsity of his 2019 statements." Judge Kaplan went on to explain that as a result, the January trial shall be limited to the issue of damages only. Judge Kaplan also denied an attempt from Trump's attorneys to reduce any damages E. Jean Carroll might receive because of the earlier $5 million award. Which makes sense because the whole point of damages in a defamation case is to serve as a deterrent for making defamatory claims in the future. The fact that Trump did exactly that anyway shows that the $5 million damage award wasn't a sufficient deterrent. So why would the judge then reduce Carroll's future damages given that they didn't even deter Trump the first time? If anything, we are almost assured to see the damages increase significantly because, again, the point is to deter future defamation. When Trump was hit with the initial $5 million penalty in the first defamation case, it took him not even 24 hours to go on CNN and do this.
Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I think the whole thing, just so you understand, ready? I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely go into other than for a couple of charities. I met her in the front door. She was about 60 years old, and this is like 22, 23 years ago. I met her in the front door of Bergdorf Goodman. I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman, right near the cash register. And then she found out there were locks on the door. So she said, I found one that was open. She found one. She learned this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes, you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President.
Again, that wasn't even 24 hours after he was hit with the first $5 million penalty. He defamed her again, this time on national television. And so as a result, the subsequent set of damages will be even higher now that it's become blatantly obvious that the initial $5 million damage didn't even come close to acting as a deterrent for Trump. What that number will be remains to be seen, but hopefully it's enough to actually serve its purpose and deter future defamation. As I noted before, this upcoming January trial comes in the aftermath of Trump's first trial, where E. Jean Carroll was awarded $5 million after Trump was found liable of abuse and defamation. The only difference between that trial and this upcoming trial is that this one involves defamatory comments about Carroll that Trump made while he was president. Trump had argued that he was protected from litigation for those comments under this baffling assertion that everything he did while in office was within the scope of his duties as president, even apparently attacking his own abuse victim. Under Merrick Garland, the DOJ eventually reversed that decision because clearly defaming E. Jean Carroll was not within the scope of Donald Trump's presidential duties. Pretty sure that attacking your abuse victims isn't encompassed in your oath of office. In fact, when Trump heard the news that the DOJ would be withdrawing from the case, he had lashed out on Truth Social, writing, "The DOJ will not defend me in the E. Jean Carroll civil case, which is all part of the political witch hunt, lawyered up by a political operative who I just beat in another case, financed by a big political funder, and judged by a Clinton appointee who truly hates Trump. The statements that I made about Carroll are all true. I have no idea who she is, what she looks like, or anything about her. The net result of this horrible injustice, where a completely unknown to me woman made up a ridiculous story, wrote it in a book to increase publicity and sales. I correctly disputed the story and got sued for defamation, whereupon a hostile judge and jury shockingly awarded a woman I don't know, have never known, and don't want to know $5 million. We are strongly appealing this travesty of justice." And I should note, on the issue of appealing this travesty of justice, that Trump did attempt 4 times to get this case thrown out altogether, arguing that he had, quote, absolute presidential immunity. Judge Kaplan swatted down that argument, noting that it was no different from his previous arguments, all of which the court had rejected, and ultimately called his appeal frivolous. So yeah, Not exactly a home run for Trump on the appeals department. So at this point, it's possible that we don't hear anything else about this case until the trial in January, unless, of course, Donald Trump opts to defame E. Jean Carroll again. But if and when he does, all it'll accomplish is adding on to his bill, which, given his history, is going to be pretty big when the damages are finally imposed at trial. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.